Call the meeting to order. Roll call, Terry, please.
Burns,
Here.
Chartrand,
Here.
King,
Here.
Causer,
Here.
Lachos,
Here.
Lehman,
Here.
Mowerhand, Mosher,
Here.
Osborne,
Here.
Dahlhoff.
Here. Please stand for the invocation and the pledge. As each of us gives our own thanks according to our personal persuasions, let us dwell on some thoughts that bind us together. We are blessed with friends and laughter and fun, with rain that's as soft as the light from the sun. We are blessed with stars to brighten each night. You've given us help to know wrong from right. You've given us so much, please. Lord, give us too a heart that is always grateful to you. Turn to the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The September 3rd and September 10th minutes have been distributed and stand approved unless someone would like to offer a correction. If not, report of the Finance and Rules Committee per Rule 6. Terry, please.
The Finance and Rules Committee has met and they recommend to waive the rules to act upon late resolutions this evening.
Need a motion? Brian, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. We'll now open a public hearing for comments on local law intro number 4-2019 to authorize overriding the tax levy limit established by General Municipal Law 3-C, otherwise known as the 2% tax cap for the Lewis County 2020 budget. Is there anyone here that would like to make a comment on that law? If not, we'll leave that open for half an hour and move on to privilege of the floor. Is there anyone here that would like privilege of the floor? Presentations of communications and notices, Terry.
Legislator Ron Burns has submitted his resignation as the board's representative on the Adirondack North Country Association Board of Directors. The Osceola Town Board adopted a resolution to support the proposed 2019 real property exemption income table for seniors age 65 and over. Turin resident John Sunderhalf has written a complaint about the dilapidated brick buildings on the four corners in the village of Turin. He cautions the buildings are beyond repair and need to be demolished. The board acknowledges receipt of resolutions adopted by the Essex County Legislature opposing state legislation that would exempt telecommunications equipment and fiber optic cables from real property taxation. From the Fulton County Legislature opposing the governor's initiative to require new license plates and fees. From the Madison County Legislature in support of repealing the Federal Health Insurance Act. And from the Cattaraugus Legislature in support of state legislation to prohibit the sale and distribution of flavored e-liquid for use in e-cigarettes. And that concludes communications.
Thank you. Reports of county officers and departments.
Legislators have each received copies of the Treasurer's September monthly report and the third quarter Fed tax report, the Highway and Solid Waste Department audit reports, and minutes of the September 20 Lewis County Agricultural State Sustainability Council meeting. James Richmeyer has submitted the August Sealer of Weights and Measures activity report that has been placed on file in my office. And that concludes reports.
Thank you. Reports of standing committees. Brian, would you like to start off with finance and rules, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to make a motion to accept reduction of the authorize to accept reduction of assessment due to a challenge on Twin Rivers paper mill in the town of Lionsdale, and to authorize County Attorney Joan McNichol to sign the settlement.
Moved by Brian, second by Dick. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
All right, second of all, in our committee meeting, we had discussed some budget items. First of all, we had 7 requests for personnel, so we discussed them. We'll talk about them more when Ryan and Patty present the budget to us, to propose or present the draft budget to us here this month at our committee meeting. We also, with the, what was it, 1.3 or 1.5%, we raised taxes last year. The $300,000 we raised, we created a new account called the capital building account to help with future use, that money to be used on fixing buildings or building projects or whatever. Plus, we had $110,000 left over in the radio project, that's monies that reimbursed through FEMA or Homeland Security or anything like that count has been encumbered now. So a total of $410,000 around will be put into this new capital building account if all of you approve that when we do the budget. So, thirdly, forgot, I have a note here. Ryan brought it to my attention that we have a department head that received the Distinguished Assistance Award through the New York Assessors Association. So congratulations to Candy Aiken. And I guess that would be all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Brian? Thank you, Brian. Jerry, General Services, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first thing I'd like to do is make a motion to authorize Sheriff Carbonelli to fill 1 part-time deputy dispatcher effective immediately due to employee transfer to another department.
Moved by Jerry, second by Tom. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Okay, and the other thing I'd like to bring up, see if people are wanting to move forward. I talked to everybody, committee and fellow legislators and stuff. Whatever reason, we didn't see eye to eye. We had a misunderstanding, didn't correct it. What I would like to do is, if everybody wants to, get Rick Tagg here to answer questions and stuff for us, because when we get up to speed, it's not that we're gonna do this build, we're doing this and that. We just need all the information we can get, because we're gonna have to make a lot of decisions as we progress along with the building, what we're gonna do with DSS or whatever. So what would people like to do? Try to get a meeting and sit down and get the information so we can start moving on?
Well, my thought would be that we do an RFP to look into the design and engineering to renovate the DSS space and to design and engineer a new highway garage. Put out a RFP to study to see what it would cost us to move in that direction.
So, and then we're gonna leave everybody else where they're at, renting?
Well, what I'm thinking is if we renovate DSS and we build a highway garage, we build offices on the highway garage that would incorporate the admin for the highway. It would also have room for soil and water, Farm Bureau, and what's the other one I forgot? And it's Jackie and Recreation. They all have big equipment. They all would work relatively closely with highway, and it would be a good fit for them down there. And as I understand it, if we take them out of the current building, that would leave enough space to move Board of Elections up there.
Do what?
To move Board of Elections to the DSS building.
So the board, there's not, I mean, we'd have to look at it, but there's not 5,600 square feet. So, I mean, then we've already decided, I mean, whatever the majority wants to do, I think the building needs to stay in the mix for discussion too.
I agree with that. That's
So,
awesome.
Okay.
Greg?
We've already done why do we need an RFP for the DSS building when we already have the figures? 38 Carr told us what it was gonna cost to renovate that building. It was right, you know, I mean, it's black and white. I mean, how much more money are we gonna spend on proposals and getting this engineer and getting that engineer? It was $4.9 million to renovate that building. And that's what Bernier Carr said it was gonna cost.
Well, it was actually 3.8, I think.
No, it's 4.9 because I have the figures, right? If I had them with me, I'd dig them out.
they had additional costs.
I think the problem here is that, this board is all over the place on what direction to go. So if you wanna keep, moving forward, that was my thought on how to accomplish that. So I'll make a motion to that effect. If somebody wants to second it, we can talk about that and move on from there.
And that's fine, but I think we need to look at everything and we need as much information we get. I'm not against saying what you're saying either. But let's not leave anything of this out because the bottom line, essentially, we're gonna have to start making decisions because we can't move forward on the projects we need to fix around here until we have a direction of where we're headed.
Larry, did you make a motion?
I made a motion.
I'll second.
Can I interject for a minute? Are you a
Yep.
parliamentarian tonight, or can any of us be? Because Jerry's got a motion on the floor that we need to have a second or not on.
Well, I don't know if you had a motion, you wanted to set a meeting.
Set a meeting, I didn't.
You didn't make a motion
I
to set
did
the
not make
meeting?
a motion, I just brought it up for discussion.
Okay. Fair enough. Now we up to
Now
discuss.
we're in discussion on this motion.
If I could discuss a little bit, you guys.
Well, and this goes right back to the motion I made the other night, which I probably worded it wrong, but if we're gonna send out RFPs and spend another $40,000 to get estimates, you can't sit on your butts and not do anything with it like we've done for 8 years. That's the only thing I was trying to do the other night, and everyone misunderstood me, except for Rick Tagg and some of the others that understood what I was trying to do. If we're gonna spend a bunch of more money, you can't sit on it. You gotta do something with it. That's all I was trying to get through to you. But everyone seems to think I was trying to cram the new building down your throats. That isn't the purpose of it.
And we
so.
got that corrected, let's skip that. I mean, the thing is we need information. Like Larry says, we're all over the page, and I think we need to get all the information we can, and we're gonna have to start making decisions of which direction we're gonna head. But I feel that the more information you get, the better decisions we can make. So,
I totally agree with that.
And I just feel that it's a waste of time to look into remodeling, renovating the DSS building. It's seen its days.
well,
And I don't see the
but
purpose in
we're-
spending more money to look at it.
I understand where you're coming from, but the thing is, we need to get everybody up to speed. I heard the comment before, I'm the last man standing on new building. And I don't care if we build a new building, whether we renovate DSS, this, that, or anything else. We just need the information that when we get together, we can have discussions. And throw out what everybody thinks and this and that, and then cast a vote on which direction we're going, because depending on how it shakes out, we've got so many things that we need to make a decision on. And like Larry says, we're scattered all over the place, but if we don't start narrowing this down and trying to figure out what we're gonna do for the future, we're gonna be here doing this again next year, too, and the year after. So the thing is, as far as I'm concerned, everything's on the table for discussion. Once we've had our turns, whether it's Andrea, Dick, Greg, Ron, Larry, Tom, all the rest of us here, once we've had that discussion and taken our turns, our thoughts in the process, then we're gonna have to cast votes, and that's gonna drive the direction wherever we end up. But there's 10 of us that, and we've, how you say it, we keep postponing. And maybe we ought to put it back to committee to start where it should be, and then we bring the information to everybody else, and they can thumbs up or thumbs down. But the way we're going, I mean, everybody, we can do this, this, and this, and we all keep bringing it back and forth, but we never run it to ground. That's all I'm asking you, run this stuff to ground and let's get a direction.
And that was part of my thought was, you know, we're sort of stalled and maybe we need a fresh look at this with an RFP to get an outside consultant to look at it from a different viewpoint and give us some additional information to
If people wanna spend additional money, I mean, so is that something we should cast a vote on to see if the majority is willing to do that, or just go ahead and do it? I don't know.
Did you have
I did, I'm not one, and I think Ron, Tom at least concurred, and that's to sit here and waste our time. I agree with what both you folks said, but I think if we meet again, we need a facilitator that knows how to run a meeting. Because there's 10 of us in here, and I'd like all 10 to be able to address their thoughts here and talk about it. But I'd like a facilitator that will keep us moving forward. We spent 45 minutes a month ago, and we got no place. And my desire is not to sit here for hours and not get someplace. The facilitator will just barely keep us online. And I'll give you a couple examples right here in Lewis County. We just did a strategic planning session with the hospital. Without the facilitator there, and I think Jerry will concur with me, we've been all over the map. Craft, the village of Alva was having problems. We finally got a facilitator in there. The second meeting with the facilitator, they found some common ground they could come to agreement on. So I agree with both of those, but I'd like to see somebody that handles it so all 10 of us can participate freely.
Are you making that a motion?
That I will make a motion.
I already have a motion on the floor though.
Todd?
I agree with Dick, but by the same token, we've made decisions, and then all of a sudden you got people going behind your back, writing letters, and everything else, because they have their own little quirks they wanna get in there. Speak at the goddamn meeting,
That's
when
what
there's
I'd like
time
to-
to speak,
Yep.
not afterwards.
Right.
That's just wrong. You got something to say, bring it up.
If we can drop the other one, I would like to see a facilitator and see if he can get us to the rest.
It's kind of an addition to both of what you just said. Let's reconvene, but let's reconvene and be productive at it.
Well, I agree
First
on
one has
it.
got an RFPs in it, so.
Yeah,
that
let's
would
back
have to-
that out. Let's get the
Yeah,
facilitator first, have
We don't know
our
enough
discussion,
for an RFP, my.
and then if that's what the majority wants to do, we'll go back where they're opposed and stuff.
So let me think how to say this. So you want to amend the motion to not go to an RFP, but hire an outside facilitator or consultant to look at the situation and help us move forward with the process?
Yeah, whatever the process is.
Okay, so,
I know it's confusing as you know
Mr.
what,
Chairman,
but.
if I might, can I help you with that?
yeah.
I think what you're looking to do is make a motion to set a meeting with the members of the board, with the facilitator, who will keep the board to an agenda and to help facilitate the options going forward for renovating existing buildings, building a new building, but have the facilitator there to act to keep everybody kind of focused and according to an agenda so you can make some decisions after that session.
And it may be more than one session, but
Right,
at least start.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Only one question is, how do we go about finding a facilitator? Does it need to be an outside consultant? Do we need to
There's a bunch
advertise?
of them on the internet, all you gotta do is,
So do we advertise for one? Or do we,
The staff can handle trying to put together an RFP to try to attract the type of person you're looking
Yeah,
for.
I mean,
alright,
I think.
so I'll withdraw the first motion and I'll make a motion that we,
Set a meeting,
move forward with,
you wanna set a meeting? Wanna set a meeting, or?
well, we can't set a meeting
We're
until
gonna need
we,
the facilitator.
we gotta get a facilitator first. So,
I think we can get the RFP out by the end of the week.
Yeah.
There's we're not gonna recreate the wheel. We find something that some other county has done and take it and adjust it to our, whatever you guys are looking for.
alright, so I'll make a motion that we RFP for a facilitator to study our current building situation and help guide us moving forward with whatever process makes the most sense.
I'll second.
Okay. So is there any discussion on that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? John's opposed. Motion carries.
Thank you. I'm gonna leave all enough alone now, Mr. Chairman, somebody else's turn.
Any questions
I
for Jerry?
appreciate it though.
Thank you, Jerry. Greg, Health and Human Services, please.
Well, yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only thing I have tonight is a motion to authorize Commissioner Jennifer Jones to refill an employment and training specialist due to a retirement and the associated backfill position this creates.
Moved by Greg, second by Dick. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
That's all I have for you, Mr.
Any
Chairman.
questions for Greg? Thank you, Greg. Dick, hospitals representative.
Yep. It's gonna be fairly quick tonight, because I was sick for the last meeting. I feel better tonight, so I'm here. Basically, the budget is online. In fact, the budgeted gain and the actual gain that we expected to date is only $1,000 apart, so pretty close. And our CEO, Jerry Kerr, would like to say a couple of words and introduce the new member of our staff.
So when I talk about budgets, I always put the positive spin. We're meeting our budget targets. So that's one way to look at it. It's truly my great pleasure to introduce to you one of our newest members of the medical staff, Dr. Kelly Birchenoff. And let me talk a little bit about Kelly, and maybe cause her to be embarrassed a little bit. Kelly has come back home to Lewis County. She's a 2003 graduate of Lowville Academy. She earned her BS at St. Lawrence University, where she majored in neuroscience, minored in chemistry and music. So that tells you something about the academic qualities of Kelly. She went to medical school at Lake Erie College of Medicine, did clinical rotations in Erie, Clarion, Grove City, Pittsburgh, and Meadville, Pennsylvania, and Lowville, New York. She also did postdoctoral training at Albany Medical Center, and then also earned her certification in electronic fetal monitoring, and had practiced the past 4 years in Pennsylvania, and is now back on our medical staff. And you can see she's in scrubs tonight. She's been in the OR, she's been rounding, and she's on calls. So if you hear the pager go off, she is going to have to run. But it's important for you to see who we're adding to the medical staff. And Kelly has just been a breath of fresh air and very well received, not only by her colleagues on the medical staff, but by the community. So, Dr. Kelly Birchenoff.
Welcome.
And with Kelly being here, I'm also able to share that we just signed a new primary care physician in the last 24 hours. Interestingly enough, it takes about 3 or 4 months to go through the insurance credentialing process when you add a new member. This fellow is a major in the Army and will be deploying across the pond this coming weekend. So while he's deployed, we will be completing the insurance credentialing process, and he'll be joining us in February of 2020. So we've had some retirements, or forthcoming retirements in primary care, so he'll be a nice addition. We also had a family nurse practitioner with 15 years of experience interview yesterday, and is likely to join us, so there'll be more to come on that. So just know we're actively recruiting, hopefully individuals who will have roots in our community and will be here for a long time. But so some good news on that front, and thank you, Kelly, for allowing us to brag about you a little bit. Okay. Some other updates. Copenhagen, I have communicated to the leadership there about the plan, and we've built the renovations for the rehab of the Copenhagen Clinic into our capital budget, which our CFO and I and Chief Operating Officer completed the review yesterday. So our capital budget that we'll be bringing forward to the Board of Managers is $4 million, and half of that are for the typical activities that you would expect in a hospital. The other half is for a new MRI machine and the renovations at Copenhagen. Our finance committee and board will go through the detail, and eventually you'll get that. The medical surgical OR project timeline has been put together through Mr. Pichet's office. Made it available. My understanding is he has forwarded it to you. So if at any point you have questions about the timeline or wondering where we are, either communicate to Dick, myself, or Ryan, and we'll get those answers off to you. The meetings for the final stages of design and development for the OR and the medical surgical unit are going to begin next week. So, you know, we're on that process. Those would be my updates for today. Do you have any questions about anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Welcome. Thank you for coming back. You all set, Dick?
Yes.
Any other questions for Dick? Thanks, Dick. County Manager report, Ryan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The 2020 budget we'll be presenting, as Brian mentioned, at the Finance and Rules Committee on the 15th. So last year we did a budget workshop. That was a special session. I talked to Brian and Patty, and we kind of thought that if everyone's going to be gathered on the 15th anyways, we can just kind of start that right at 4 o'clock as we would normally with the Finance and Rules Committee. So that will be presented on the 15th at 4 o'clock. As of this morning, we were $75,000 away from our goal of a balanced budget with no tax increase, so we've just got to find that last little tiny bit, which is always the hardest. And our goal, like I said, is to present you guys, like we did last year, a budget with no tax increase, and then give you some options of what a tax increase would look like and what that money could be used for. So similar kind of approach to what we did last year. Yes?
When you do that, are you going to present, like, highlight the areas that each, like, as far as benefits have gone up in departments or different employees or anything like that?
So last year I did a PowerPoint that was department by department, and then also took on, sales tax and non-departmental and some of the big purchase items. I would plan on probably using that same PowerPoint, but updating it a little bit, yeah. So very similar.
Making sure that you're highlighting the big increases or even the big decreases.
Yep, absolutely, yeah. Our second annual employee survey is out to employees right now. They will have 2 weeks to complete it, so it ends this Friday. So far we've had about 160 employees complete the survey, which is the number that we had last year. So if we can get 20 more or so by the end of the week to participate, our numbers will be up from last year. We will present those results to Finance and Rules probably in November, since the October meeting's all booked up now. But you guys will have access to all of the results from that survey. October is also Employee Evaluation Month, so we're trying to get everybody on the same schedule that, county-wide, we are evaluating all employees at the same time. It's not based on your anniversary date or date of hire. It's based on, everybody doing the same form, same month. So that will be going on throughout the county in the month of October. I'll be meeting with all department heads, and you guys will get your evaluation forms for me, Joan, and Terry in your boxes here over the next week or so. You'll get your forms for us. The last thing is this Friday, the 4th, it's ADK Adirondacktoberfest that the governor is hosting in Lake Placid. You might recall in years past, he's done an event in the Adirondacks every year where him and members of his cabinet get together and they invite local officials to participate. That is this Friday. I've passed along that invitation to all of you guys via email. It's probably a good idea that Lewis County have somebody present at that event. So if one or many of you would like to go, let me know. We can arrange, county transportation or anything else that you guys might need. So, other than that concludes my report.
Questions, Dick?
Yeah. You may wanna highlight the timing of that back to the ADK thing, because it's, tonight, you gotta send back your reply that you wanna go, and then tomorrow they're gonna send you back your invitation and stuff, so if you're gonna go, you haven't got much time to decide it. I just got it this afternoon, I'm a no. So.
Any other questions? Thanks, Ryan. Patty, County Treasurer's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have your balances for the month. Special legislative contingency is $93,442. Regular contingency is $174,845.05. Capital data processing has $52,043.97. Capital equipment, highway share, $61,351.30. County share, $297,913.20. Sales tax to date, $7,621,653.22, and we are on budget. And internal service fund, our fund balance is $4,970,070.59. And that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions.
Questions for Patty? Thank you, Patty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is there anyone here that would like to comment on the 2% tax cap override? If not, we will close that public hearing. Report of the Finance and Rules Committee per Rule 7. Terry, please.
The Finance and Rules Committee reports they have examined the claims presented for payment in the total amount of $820,304.34 and recommend that they be audited and allow for the amounts claimed. That's signed by the entire committee.
Moved by Ryan, second by Tom. Any discussion? This is a roll, no, this is, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
First resolution then is to audit and allow the claims in the amount of $820,304.34.
Moved by Brian, second by Jerry. Roll call, please.
Burns,
Yes.
Chartrand,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Causer,
Yes.
Lachos,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Mauerhand,
Yes.
Mosier,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Dahoff.
Yes.
Resolution 326 adopts and otherwise treats local law number 5 to authorize overriding the tax levy limit.
Moved by Dick, second by Tom. Discussion? All in favor?
This is a roll call. I'm sorry. Burns,
Yes.
Chartrand,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Causer,
Yes.
Lachos,
Yes.
Lehman,
Yes.
Mauerhand,
Yes.
Mosier,
Yes.
Osborne,
Yes.
Dahoff.
Yes.
You have introductory local law number 5, imposing a tax on occupants of hotel or motel rooms and other short-term room rentals in Lewis County. Resolution 327 is to set the public hearing for that local law for November 5 at 5 p.m.
Moved by Jerry, second by Dick. Discussion?
I have a question on the wording short-term rental. So say a homeowner goes to Florida for 3 months, January, February, and March, and they rent their house out to snow sledders. Are they going to be having to pay this 5%?
If they rent out to somebody for 30 days or more, that's considered a long-term rental.
That's long-term rental, so that's not part of this.
Correct.
Okay, so I assume, because in here I assume that you must have gotten this law from another county, all the paperwork as far as the wording and stuff. Is that correct, Joan?
Well, this was our original law, and we added some provisions in the definitions for a
Because
short-term rental.
if you go to section 17, whenever any operator required to collect a tax shall fail, it goes, bring or cause to be brought to an action and enforce payment on behalf of St. Lawrence County.
I'm sorry,
County of
where are
St.
you?
Lawrence, section 17, it's not paid, there isn't a page that goes with it. So it's section 17.
Section 17A.
Yeah,
Joe.
A, it says St. Lawrence, County of St. Lawrence. in
Yeah,
the report.
that's an error.
So I assume this must have, parts of this came from their law?
Yeah, actually, we gave them our original law, and then they
Yeah.
adopted the,
They added to it and
Yeah,
now we copied
they
theirs.
adopted the one for short-term rentals for us. So yes, that's an error, that should say Lewis County.
So you'll correct that, do we need to make any formal motion here to,
No, that's a typographical error.
okay.
So basically, you can rent your cottage for 3 months and not have to pay not have to impose a tax on it.
Correct.
3 months to the same person.
Right.
For the same person, right? Okay. But if you rent it for a month, you're gonna, to the same person, you're gonna have to collect it.
If you rent it for 30 days
Yeah.
or more, that's considered a long-term rental, you don't have to pay the tax.
Anything under 30 days. The same
Right.
person. I don't know, it's just, I hate adding taxes.
Well, the problem, Greg, I think is if you're renting an apartment and the person, you know, if you rent the apartment for say 6 months, then, you know, if we increase that time, they would have to pay this bed tax for, you know, renting an apartment that, you know, for their lodging or however you want to term that. So that's why Joan limited it to 30 days was to not have to, you know, deal with that. John?
I'm totally against it like I was before. There's no way to enforce this. It's just another added tax to the people. And I'm just totally against it. It's wrong.
Well, what this law does is address the new situation of Airbnb and vacation rentals by owner. They are draining off the hotels and motels that have to pay the tax. So all we're really changing here is to include Airbnb and you know, the other internet available options like vacation rental by owner. So,
Make all the excuses you want. It's a new tax.
okay. Any other comments? Greg, you all set?
I guess so. I'm not in favor of new tax either, but, you know, I see both sides. You know, I see both sides. But it just seems like every time we turn around, somebody's putting a new tax on us. Whether it's the state or now it's us, the county, putting a new tax on our citizens.
Okay, but, okay.
So they're making a buck.
And I understand that, Greg, but on the other sense, though, you're taxing the people that are using it. Because your homeowner is gonna charge that tax. I mean, they're gonna raise.
They're paying sales tax when they're staying here, because if they're staying here for a week or two, aren't they going somewhere?
So we raise property
And
taxes to
everybody,
cover it.
you sit here, everybody sits here about tourism, and you want tourism, you want wheelers, you want snow sledders.
Have you read
But
any
now-
comments
Now
on
we're
it?
gonna have more taxes on it.
People that own these cottages and stuff,
I don't get
they're all
it.
against it. I thought you're here to represent the people. Sometime you are,
You're
next time we ain't.
entitled to do so.
The only comments I've received, John, are from the hotel and motel owners that are losing business because these people are moving to
They ain't moving
Airbnb.
business because of the people.
Okay, you asked for my comment, I told you what I've heard. Any other
If you
discussion?
look on Facebook,
Randy?
If you look on Facebook, you'll see some.
Randy has the floor.
Now, are these places with Airbnb, et cetera, that are being solicited on the internet for occupancy, are they bona fide businesses?
I'm not sure about Airbnb,
What do you
but
mean by a modified business?
Bonafide businesses, do they have a DBA or an LLC or anything like that? Are they
It's
considered
an
a
online
business?
service where they enter in, I guess these people who are marketing their properties are signing up with them to, have their
But they
properties
don't have
marketed on
individual
them.
business licenses as a hotel, motel,
No, no.
short-term rentals or anything like
Yeah,
that.
they're
So
just- they're
so
just
the only way
marketing.
the only way you're gonna enforce this is your neighbor's gonna have to blow you in, correct?
A lot of them have.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, other counties that have passed similar legislation get an agreement directly with Airbnb, so Airbnb collects the tax on their behalf. So that's how you quote-unquote enforce it, is that the listing agency, whether it's Airbnb or RBVO, collects it and then distributes it back to the county.
The bed and breakfast is paid at that tax.
Yes.
Same thing.
The customer.
Yeah, to the customer, that's right.
Customer pays
It's
the
the same damn thing.
I haven't traveled any place. In fact, this weekend I went to Lake Placid and I paid a bed tax. I didn't look at that and say, oh, I'm not coming to Lake Placid because I gotta pay a bed tax. Or any place else I travel. And we're not taxing the residents of Lewis County.
It's not a point.
Well, I don't know what the
That's
point
your
is.
opinion.
Right.
That's mine.
Yeah,
I don't agree with you.
yeah. But you asked for comments. I gave you a comment.
And I give you
Thank
one.
you. So, point of order. We're here,
This is just.
we're here to set a public hearing. We're not here to discuss this tonight.
This is to just allow other people to come and talk about this, correct?
That's all it
Yeah,
is.
that's all it
Set the
is.
public hearing, that's all it's doing.
Okay, I just want
Okay, I'm good.
clarification, a couple of things.
okay.
I'm good, Larry, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Show John opposed. Motion carries.
Introductory law number 6, established a sustainable energy loan program. Resolution 328 is to fix the public hearing for November 5 for that local law.
Moved by Randy, second by Tom. Discussion. Quiet one. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
To amend and adopt the standing rules of the Board of Legislators.
Moved by
329.
Ron, second by anybody? Tom, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Show John opposed. Motion carries.
That was for the public hearing.
No, we just skipped over the,
No.
Number 6, I thought we were on that.
3:30.
We're on 330.
you had the introductory law, Greg, and then you skipped over that to vote on, and then you went to setting the public hearing for that.
Yeah, but then you have, I've got, 328 is,
320.
sustainable energy loan program.
Well, yours is, see, the 328 I have is fixing the public hearing.
I guess.
For the sustainable
For the,
energy.
for the sustainable,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is.
Whatever. Standing rules.
Where are we, Terry?
Where are we?
We're on
330.
resolution 330.
We're back. So-
Thank you.
Oh, for the adopting those standing laws, I will, I vote no on that.
Okay, show Greg opposed on that also.
Yeah, that just makes our committee meeting absolutely useless. I don't know why we bother to have them.
So the motion carries.
Yes.
Show
John.
Greg opposed, John and Greg.
Right, that's what I
Opposed.
have.
To 329.
And now we go to 330. Directing demolition and removal of unsafe building pursuant to local law 2 of 2007. John D. Rosher, property owner.
Moved by Jerry, second by Dick. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing renewal agreement between Buildings and Grounds and Venus Enterprises for snow plowing at tower sites.
Moved by Andrea, second by Jerry. Discussion.
This was the only response we got, or did we have others?
We had an option to extend this.
Yeah.
In the first agreement.
Okay.
And if you recall the first RFP, they were the best bargain by quite a bit.
Yes, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
To appropriate funds, capital building account.
Moved by Ron, second by Tom. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
To appropriate funds, community services.
Moved by Jerry, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
In opposition to proposed ban on flavored milk in New York City schools.
Moved by Brian, second by Andrea. Discussion? Oh,
They
Greg.
actually said that flavored milk, the chocolate milk, is better for the athletic students than Gatorade. A lot better. Has more nutrients.
Wouldn't doubt that. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
To appropriate funds, district attorney.
Moved by Jerry, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Amending compensation plan with reference to district attorney's office.
Moved by Tom, second by Greg. Discussion.
Brian, where is that salary set then?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. She was negotiating that with the person. I don't know where it stopped between 45 and 50. That was what we gave her for a range, so I'm sorry, I don't know off the top of my head. Does everyone know the situation behind this resolution? I think I sent it to Finance and Rules Committee.
We discussed it.
We discussed that committee, okay.
Yeah, we discussed it. The only one that wasn't here was Jerry that day.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
To appropriate funds, fire and emergency management.
Moved by Jerry, second by Randy. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Approving agreements between emergency responder agencies and County Office of Fire and Emergency Management.
Moved by Ron, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing agreements with New York State Division of Homeland Security Emergency Services, State Homeland Security Program, and Emergency Management Performance Grant Awards.
Moved by Jerry, second by Randy. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Adopting procurement policy, Lewis County Emergency Management Services for federal grant awards.
Moved by Ron, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Resolution to transfer funds legislative contingency.
Moved by Jerry, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing designation and placement of stop signs at specific intersections.
Moved by Tom, second by Ron. Discussion.
Is there someone looking at other intersections, or is this it?
I don't know the answer to that.
We can get it at committee meeting.
If you have some, if any of the legislators have spots in mind that they think need to be looked at, then let us know and we'll, do the study and take action.
All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
To close County Route 33 over Beaver River account.
We're closing the account or
The capital.
Bridges.
just kidding. Moved by Jerry, second by
Jerry, I'm sorry.
Jerry, second by Randy. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Appropriate funds, Highway Department.
Moved by Andrea, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Appropriate funds, Transportation Department.
Moved by Jerry, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Approving agreement between the County Highway Department and CNS companies for bridge replacement on East Road over Moose Creek.
Moved by Jerry, second by Ron. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Approving agreement between the Highway Department and Foy Albert Architecture Engineering for bridge replacement on West Road over Whetstone Creek.
Moved by Greg, second by Tom. Discussion.
That's right by the state campground.
All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Establishing and adopting Lewis County Information Technology Breach and Incident Response Policy.
Moved by Randy, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Setting enforcement hearing under local law 6 of 2017, junkyard law for State Route 26 Town of Lewis property.
Moved by Dick, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Setting enforcement hearing under local law 6, 2017, junkyard law for State Route 26 Town of Lewis property.
Moved by Ron, second by Tom. Discussion.
This makes the other one that we voted on earlier just stronger.
There's two of them.
That's-
This-
Two of them? Okay.
That's the same property, one was a unsafe structure, that was the
This
first
is the other
resolution.
stuff,
This
okay.
is a junkyard violation.
Yeah, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
To transfer funds, Office for the Aging.
Moved by Andrea, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorize agreement between Planning Department and Community Planning Environmental Associates to develop Ag and Farmland Protection Plan.
Moved by Tom, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing contract between the county and New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services for 5-year statewide expansion of Harold Herring Grant Award.
Moved by Jerry, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing MOU between Public Health and Dr. Root for HIV diagnostic testing.
Moved by Andrea, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing MOU between Public Health and Community Action Planning Council.
Moved by Ron, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing amendments to Phase 3 Project Addendum Agreement between Public Health and Central New York Care Collaborative.
Moved by Greg, second by Dick. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Amending compensation plan with reference to public health.
Moved by Greg, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing agreement with Nida County to utilize shelter space at the NIPA power site, or tower site, I'm sorry.
Moved by Jerry, second by Ron. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Resolution to close capital radio system account.
Moved by Tom, second by Ron. Discussion. Thank you, Jerry, for all your work on that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
To transfer funds, Sheriff's Department.
Make it happen though.
Moved by Jerry, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing agreement between DSS and Hand in Hand Early Childhood Center.
Moved by Andrea, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing agreement between DSS and Victim Assistance Center of Jefferson County.
Moved by Dick, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Resolution to rescind Resolution 201, Stop DWI.
Moved by Jerry, second by Dick. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorize renewal agreements between the county and Spectrum Reach for mobile digital audience network campaign and cable TV commercial ad campaign.
Moved by Tom, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Renewal agreement with Flag Broadcasting Group.
Moved by Ron, second by Randy. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Renewal agreement with WWNY News.
Moved by Tom, second by Randy. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing the extension modification agreement to the third-party lease agreement with Bernie Bus Tours.
Moved by Ron, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing agreement between Treasurer's Office and Systems East.
Moved by Randy, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Transfer capital funds, Sealer Wade Social Services Office for Aging Transportation.
Moved by Ron, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing road agreement between the county and towns of Harrisburg, Pinckney, and Atlantic Wind for the Deer River Wind Farm project.
Moved by Ron, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Authorizing agreement between the county and Jefferson County for conduct of activities under Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act.
Moved by Ryan, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
To reallocate funds, Workforce Investment Opportunities Act.
Moved by Greg, second by Tom. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
We have one late resolution, number 373, authorizing agreement and acceptance of grant award from New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services for the cybersecurity.
Moved by Ron, second by Gary. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries. Any other business?
Mr. Chairman, can I just state for the record, because I did have some inquiries about this. I did hold an attorney-client privilege session before the meeting to discuss some litigation matters and also some labor negotiation matters.
Thank you. Dick?
I'd like to request an short executive session for personnel discussion.
Do I have a second? Jerry? All in favor? We'll take a 5-minute break and then we'll go into executive session.
Don't give me something.